welcome. I know this is a different setting than what you're used to, but I really wanted to get this real quick review done simply because you've probably already seen the thumbnail, you read the title, you clicked on the video. I'm in my backyard and I live right next to a super busy street here in my city, so if you're hearing anything, that's it. But anyway, so yeah, I ordered this hat from AliExpress, and you know me, I like to do reviews of things from obscure places, right? When it comes to Amazon, you get a cheap Amazon hat, and you can get cheap Amazon boots. And I've done reviews. I've done a review on this hat. Haven't released it yet. Wanted to get this one out, but I ordered a hat from AliExpress, and it looked good in the images. It looked good online when it said, hey, it's all wool construction. It is a 4-inch brim. So everything looked pretty good. So I said, fine, let's try it out. It was about $50. So it's about $30 to $40 cheaper than what you can get at, say, Boot Barn for a Cody James that I usually wear. And so this is what I picked up. It is a chocolate wool felt hat. Now here's the kicker. Take a look at this. If you weren't able to see that, that says Resist All Hats, best all round. That is a reputable name of a hat maker here in the United States, right there as well. It says Resist All. That is a very reputable hat maker. So there's Stetson. Everybody knows Stetson. Then there's Resist All, which is a very, very popular brand here when it comes to cowboy hats. Another one is American Hats, who's very much on the rise as being like the #1 hat around the U.S. And then Rodeo King, Ceratelli, these are a bunch of big name brand hats that are going around. And of course, you're familiar with Cody James because that's what you find at the Boot Barn. And then there's a lot of, I don't want to sound disrespectful, but there's a lot of one-offs in the sense of there are small bootstrap companies, small companies that are selling in different shops here and there, and I've learned that that's exactly the same when it comes to boots. They're all leather, they're all well made, they're actually made in the same places that the other big boots are done. In the same way, the hats go the same way. And I just thought it was crazy that they put this there. Now, this is not made by Resist All. Resist All is American made, okay? The people that make this hat, it's right here, which is called Lihua or something like that, hats. And they have a site on Alibaba. They have a storefront. This was sold by another store. So why am I making such a quick rush review? Because as you'll notice, I don't know if you could just notice it right off the bat, but this is a much shorter brim than what you get from an American-made cowboy hat, or even a Mexican-made cowboy hat. But it's not a cowboy hat. And, you know, Mexico's got cowboys. They got vaqueros and caballeros, and America's got cowboys. China don't got cowboys, okay? So they're going off what they see in the States and going, how can we make something like that for the Americans to buy from us? And they got really close. Like, the crown is really close. It looks really good. Matter of fact, I'm going to try this on so you can take a look. It got pretty close. Now, you see the way that it's shaped? I shaped that. I also shaped this hat as well. And we'll go over, you know, what I did for it. But I shaped this hat simply because when it came in the box, well, let me show you some pictures. This is what it looked like when it came in the box. It was horrible. And you don't send cowboy hats in this type of box. It was too small for it. They sell things like fedoras and other type of hats, but it's the same hat making process. You just shape it differently when it comes to the crown and the brim. It's shaped differently. There's different measurements. But as you can see here, I ordered my size, which is a 7 and 3. No, excuse me. It's a 7 and 5/8. And this is a 7 and 5/8, but it ends up being a little too big. I can almost stick my fingers in right here by my temple. It's too big. And so that was too big. The brim is just too small. As you could see, the dimensions here, the side profiles, it it's too short right here. And so it said it was a 4-inch hat. This is actually a 3 3/4 inch hat. So it's not quite there at 4 inches. This is more of a 4-inch, and the stuff that we purchase that are like, again, the regular cowboy hats that you see at most places, you're gonna find they're like a 4 1/4 inch, 4 1/2 inch brims. If you start to go more traditional Mexican cowboy hats, you're gonna find those at around like 3 3/4, 3 1/2, sometimes just straight 3. So they get a little bit shorter, they do more of this, but I'm looking for more rodeo style. And that is usually 4, 4 1/4, 4 1/2. And so I'm like, the least I'll take is a 4. And that's what they advertised, was a 4. And I ended up getting a 3 1/4. So that's why I'm sending it back. It's a little big here, and I had to reshape it. And not only that, not only did I have to reshape it, but you'll notice as this is a 8X, so it's a fur wool blend. You can hear how hard it is. This is not hard at all. And I'm putting it right next to my mic. It's very weak. Doesn't have very much hat stiffener in it. So it's very, very flimsy. So in other words, I'd have to do most of the work. Now, for being a wool, 100% wool hat, and I'm paying $50, so that's about 3/4 of the way to 80 when it comes to an American-made Cody James or something like that. I feel like they could have finished it off and done it right. So I'm going to send it back. But what I will say is this. This hat comes a lot further than the Amazon hat that I'm about to post a review about. The Amazon hat that I bought for $35 is nowhere near the ballpark of being a cowboy hat. It just looks like a cowboy hat, but it's not a cowboy hat. This is much closer. And I would say if you're in the market for a cowboy hat, and it doesn't matter to you if you get something like this or if you get something like the Cody James that I have, then I would personally get this over. If I was like, okay, I'm spending 50 and no more. I think it came out to 48. Then I would say get this over the Amazon any day. And you have about this, and this is why I'm ordering off of AliExpress. I'm ordering a lot of things off of AliExpress now, actually, is because they have the same guarantees as Amazon does when it comes to being able to return things. Now, you're going straight to China, so when it comes to getting stuff from that, it's going to take a little bit longer to get to you. So it's really all based on if you want to save a few bucks like I did, then you could just wait an extra few days. Once again, if you're wanting to get something, you're not trying to spend $80, $85, getting a cowboy hat from AliExpress that's like this, make sure it says 100% wool. You don't want anything with polyester. You don't want any synthetics. You at least want wool. That's like the Cody James that I reviewed on my channel. This one's a little bit better. This one has wool and fur. Fur is the best. And that's when you're looking at a 10X. You're looking for beaver fur, 100X, so on and so forth. But again, this hat I talk about in a separate review, but this hat was relatively cheap for a much better quality hat. But again, the measurements are a little bit different compared to my Cody James. And you can even kind of tell the way it's sitting on my head, it's a little bit different. So all that being said, go and check it out if you're wanting to do that. For me, like I said, the measurements weren't right here. I like the crown, but the measurements were not right in the front. So therefore, I'm going to send it back. And whenever I do add a chocolate to the collection, I'm going to make sure that all the measurements are right where I need it to be, right what I'm asking for. And at this point, I think I have enough hats for me to just sit and wait to finish out the collection, because that's all I'm really waiting for is a chocolate. Straws, I'm not really partial to, and so I end up having like a buckskin color, which is closer to straw than the rest of my felts. So anyway, I'll go to it on my reviews about those at that time. So keep a lookout for those.